Welcome to Not Just For Show. And we are going to talk films today in these COVID-19 times, lockdown times, and quarantine times. We have with us two gorgeous women from the film industry. It is indeed my privilege and pleasure to introduce to you Nivedita Basu, the legendary film director par excellence, and we have with us the very pretty and vibrant Manjari Fadnnis, who's making headlines with her films these days. So welcome to Not Just For Show. These are indeed stressful times, and as we speak, मैं कहना चाहूंगी सारे दर्शकों से कि 1 मीटर से कहीं ज्यादा मीटरों की दूरी हमने बना के रखी है, और अगर छींकेंगे या खांसेंगे तो हाथ ऊपर रखने से भी कोई फायदा नहीं, इतनी दूरियां बन गई हैं। तो कैसा लगता है आपको? निवेदिता, आपसे शुरुआत करूंगी। कोविड टाइम्स में, लॉकडाउन में ऐसा नहीं लगता कि कोई जेल में हम लोग हैं और किस तरह की हमारी जिंदगी हो गई है?
Hi Nidhi ji, thank you for having us on the show. Hi Manjari. Manjari is an old
Hi,
friend.
Nidhi.
It's always nice to have her around. Unfortunately for me, I'm not really feeling that it's like a jail. And I think Manjari would also agree because she lives in an island, so it's even better for her. But I prefer, yeah. So I prefer being, I am a very home person. I mean, the only handicap probably is too that you cannot go down probably also to walk and exercise a little. Apart from that, I think it is a good phase because we're getting a lot of time to spend with ourselves, which we hardly get. We're always running from one thing to the other, work, meeting, drive, cab, Uber, isko melo, iski party, uske udhar. So I'm enjoying this phase because I'm getting to watch a lot. I'm reading. I don't think I've worked in a particular day for 24 hours as much as I probably work now. And for me, it is a good phase because I think we all, like they say in quotes and they say in those forwards that we all share, that we need to have some me time. And God has actually put it out for us there. And I think we should be all happy that we're getting it. And we should support the whole system where they're asking us to stay at home. And we're probably doing that only.
But globally, it is business as usual. It's going to take some time to come back to that. मंजरी, आपको कैसा लगता है? जैसा निवेदिता ने कहा, mud island, you actually used to need a boat in monsoon times to come to one place to another.
I normally use the boat to come across, but like right now, मैं अपने island पे बंद हूँ, so I think I cannot complain at all because I can see the sea from here. It's a beautiful view. I can read. I'm watching series. मैं पढ़ाई कर रही हूँ, so I'm doing everything that I have not ever had the time to do before. So I mean, I can't complain at all.
And your vibe is very positive. That of an innocent young girl, you always look like that. So how did you break out of those roles? If I begin with you, Manjari, of that, girl next door or baby next door, or, one of those which you've consciously made an attempt to get out of and got into different challenging spaces.
I think I would just say I've been very fortunate to keep getting opportunities in different kinds of films, like different genres, like Barot House abhi release hui thi, usme I had a very, very different character. It was, I played a mother who's going through a lot of depression because of losing her children and everything. So that was a completely different character, though it was Girl Next Door. But then there are other characters I have played which have been totally different from that. So, I mean, like, I think I chose this profession because I love playing different characters and trying to imagine myself as a different person altogether. So I think that's one good thing about being an actor.
So Nivedita, I want to ask you, you were the brain behind Kyunki Saas Bhi Kabhi Bahu Thi and all the Kyunki Ke Kusum series and a whole lot of that. Take us through your journey, Nivi.
I was fortunate enough, in fact, to have joined Ekta when she was just about starting back in 2000 because she was a pioneer, we all know, and we were in a mode which was called the factory mode, like where manufacturing is like at its peak, and you're doing like multiple shows. So I am so blessed that I got to go there because I come from a field where, like where people say they grow up and they always thought they wanted to do this. I had no idea I wanted to do media ever. I was in fact always on the educational side of it, and I was like, I'll study more. And I used to be always scared that I hope I don't have to work ever because I'll just keep studying and like kill all my time. And look at where life has got us. Here I am, in the midst of obviously shifting gears to OTT. Like Manjari said, we have to see her film Barot House, which is amazing. Both my friends, Amit Saad and Manjari, were there. So I think it's a good phase right now. When we say quarantine, it's like because content has really picked up. In fact, the only thing which people are doing at home apart from doing their household chore is watching a lot of content.
Yes.
The people who never watched TV or films or OTT, in fact, everyone prefers to watch it on their palm, so the future is OTT. So
And
I think
the
I am in a good time where I am going to be creating a lot of content, which probably we wouldn't have had the time to do. Otherwise, we're always finishing projects. It's like homework देते ना ये project लेकर आओ वही करो. तो अभी free mind से आप बहुत कुछ कर सकते हो जो आप शायद normal days में नहीं कर पाते. तो from K serial now to the OTT, the flamboyant side of content making. Let's see how that goes.
Absolutely. And content की अगर बात की जाए तो Manjari, since Netflix is for millennials and that 21 age group which are really into a lot of things, including cuss words also at times, and including a lot of hot content. So if we talk about the real kiss and the real kiss, that kiss controversy जो आपके संग इतनी viral हुई थी, how would you like to explain that on a lighter note to people that it's not really easy to kiss on screen?
It is not. They're like, I mean, a kiss in real life is more of a an intimate moment, and it's a lot about feelings that it's just the two of you, whoever two of you. But on screen there are like 150 people on the set watching you while you're kissing somebody. So it can get really embarrassing. And but of course, being an actor, you can't complain about people watching. You have to be in the moment. You have to perform, but it's very mechanical. There are no feelings or anything as such while you're doing it on screen.
And it's just like get on with it and move on to the next scene. I agree with you there. So
Yeah.
Nidhi, what do you feel about the content that we have for Netflix, and which is, how would you compare it with, say, the American web series? What is the backlog? I think we're 10 years or more behind.
Not really, Nidhi. If you say Netflix now, Netflix, any content which you're doing for web is kind of pan. It's across the world. It's the same. So when you talk about Netflix and Amazon, their content is probably at par with what we are doing internationally. Especially the new content. When Sacred Games came, it became like the biggest ever. Which was there. And when you see Amazon, you had the Inside Edge, you had Breathe. Then you had Made in Heaven, which got a lot of critical acclaim. So Netflix, Amazon are anyways international platform. But if you ask me, the Indian platforms like Z5 or Alt Balaji, I think they all are catching up. So the race is never to compete with an American content. But there was so much content in India also which we could not make. So there's always in fact, there was a wider line of content which could not go either on television nor on films, because earlier it was all about having big actors, having big brands to make a film. But now if you have content, you will have a place to showcase. So I am pretty excited that these platforms have come in, and it's a good thing there are more platforms, though they say that over a period of time a lot of platforms will get dissolved, it get merged with the bigger ones. That is for future. I mean, we don't know what is going to happen in time, but this is the best time for anyone who's getting into content, whether you're creating content or you're part of content. So there will
also, even producers are so open to experimenting, because there were times when there were certain projects which would never find any takers, but now because people are open to more different out of the box kind of projects, so more interesting stuff is coming out on OTT platforms because they're getting viewers and producers to help them out.
Manjari, you've done a lot on Netflix. Tell us about that. What was the experience?
No, actually, not yet. I can't talk about it yet, but there might be something coming up soon. But as of now, I just have like a few of my films out there, but not yet a series for Netflix. So
tell me about Barot House. How did you find the experience, and what was working with Amit like? That you're very good friends, and I think from the reality show days.
No, actually, Amit I met for the first time for Barot House, I had socially
Okay.
met him a couple of times earlier, but then this was the first time I actually interacted with Amit. And it was a wonderful experience working with him. And even our director, Bugs Bhargava, I think there's such intelligent filmmakers, and also Amit is such an intelligent actor. He's so involved in the characters that he's playing, and so it was an amazing experience working with everybody on the set. It was a very difficult project for all of us, I must tell you, because almost we had to keep ourselves in that frame of mind, because it was a very hard-hitting film, and it's based on a real incident which happened 10 years back. So yeah, it was a very emotionally draining film, but a very creatively satisfying experience for an actor.
Nivedita, I want to ask you about Mission 24. What was the experience like working for this, phenomenal series?
I think all thanks to Anil Kapoor, who had this vision, because I always feel, I hadn't ever got the opportunity of working with him, but when I was working on 24, of course, I was like one-on-one with him. I used to literally stay in his house and used to be just jamming all the time on content. So he's a man who actually, I would say, this was the right time probably to do a 24, because he was very futuristic. He had thought of bringing a lot of American series back then. I'm talking about 5 years back, to India. So I think it was phenomenal, because if anyone, I don't know if Manjari has worked with Abhay Deo on advertisements or not, but Abhay is a phenomenal director, Abhay Deo. He's won like so many awards at Cannes and everything, and he knows what he's doing and the kind of crew we had. So for me, it was almost like a first-hand film experience on television, So I was consciously told every time it's not TV. I said, yes, it's not TV, I know. I was always jumping that I don't have to do TV while doing TV on the side. So I think these are some experiences which always go down in, in history books, that, okay, I was a part of the first 24 American series, season 1. And the crew was amazing. I mean, we had Bhavani Iyer, who's written Black, and who wrote Razi. Then there was Renzel, the guy who wrote Rang De Basanti. So there was some amazing cast and crew on the project, and I think it was one of my best experiences to do.
Great fun working, yes. So Manjari, which is the movie you've had lots of fun in, and whatever the outcome may have been, whether it was a successful film at the end of it by the audience, validated by them or not, how do you actually, describe having a lot of fun moments in the film? I've seen you with Kapil Sharma doing, crazy dances on the sets of, 400 saal purani kabron pe.
I know, like,
Kapil is anything but romantic.
Exactly, हम लोग कब्रों पे dance करते यार. In किस किस को प्यार करूँ, you're talking about that song, Samandar mein, and it was quite a weird experience doing that, romancing on the cover. But so Kis Kis Ko Pyar Karu was a lot of fun, as in it was all Abbas Mastan saw. They're such amazing directors and so humble, and that whole team was like so much fun. And Warning was another film I really had a great time working on. That was a great team and a lovely film, which unfortunately didn't get promoted very well. But whoever saw it has really liked it.
So Nivi, if I ask you, what is that you feel that during these COVID times, a lot of movies are going to be made, definitely. There's no two about that. So what do you think is going to actually gel with the audiences? What do you think the message from India should be at a larger vertical?
See, you'll be surprised that, we all know, not just in India, across the world, you can imagine the size of the world and the kind of content which is going to come post-Corona on Corona. So I think we should not try too hard to just, follow the trend and say that we want to do something on Corona. Like I said, it's the best time to analyze your own content, believe in what you make. We were having this discussion on content only about a few days back online, where somebody asked me that, how do you think, what will work, what will not work? I said, you'll be surprised. There was a time when we would always look for very different subjects. Okay, let's do something very different. So there comes a wiki donor, which is a very unique subject.
Yeah.
But then there is also Badhai Ho, which is a very run-to-mill television subject, which also does well. So I think it's all to do with the belief of the maker. If you think you can put your life and soul into it, you can make the most smallest role so incredible, it's not even funny. So, like I said, I wouldn't follow any trend and just follow because, you know, Corona has happened and let's do something around Corona. Because trust me, we might think they're very different, but there must be some randomly amazing content coming from Iran for all you know. You know, Swiss people make very good content. Then Spanish people, I mean, we all know Money
Money
Heist.
Heist.
Exactly. So Money Heist is one of the, you know, the greatest show. But Alex Pina is not making, the creator of Money Heist is not really looking at making anything on Corona. In fact, he has a very good show lined up with the Netflix just after the Corona thing, of course, gets over. In fact, I'm watching another very good series from Alex Pina called Locked Up. You should watch it, Manjari, and I think I recommend it to the female audiences. Yes, it's quite a nice. It's one of his initial shows which didn't really pick well. In fact, somebody was telling me the story of Money Heist also. You know, it's about, I would just want to tell people when, you know, today when anyone makes content, you know, we always scared कि ये platform नहीं मिला, ये cast नहीं मिला, अरे ये producer नहीं मिला, ये नहीं मिला. तो ये मुझे किसी ने ऐसे कहानी बताई थी कि मनी हाइस्ट की, कि जब उन्होंने बनाया वो, तो जब फर्स्ट टाइम उन्होंने स्पेन में रिलीज करा तो उसके हार्डली 3 लाख भी व्यूज नहीं मिले उन्हें. Then again they put money and made a second season. That's when Netflix picked up, and who knew it became like the most watched series ever on a OTT platform. So my whole thing is, you always believe in your content, never think it's too small or too big. You know, sometimes we don't go with makers कि यार ये तो नया है, but आजकल I think पूरा trend बदल गया है. आजकल आपको सब्जेक्ट पे बिलीव करना है, आपको देखना है कितने कन्विक्शन से उन्होंने बनाया, चाहे आपका 5 मिनट का पार्ट हो, बट आप अपने कैरेक्टर का ग्राफ देखिए, अगर आपको समझ आता है कि उसमें है इसको, तो बिल्कुल करिए जिस तरह से हम लोग करते हैं ना. मतलब हम लोग अगर देखें 24 में there was such a big team and there, it was like a magnum opus, but I saw where I could add value and I jumped in, irrespective of, you know, because I got a chance to work with big people, I got a chance to learn. Then there was an English format full training which was going on, you know, from the American 24 team. So it was very interesting. So we always have to gauge ourselves. You know, nobody can tell you the success formula.
And you have to take risks. Absolutely. And Manjari, if I ask you, you've also taken a lot of risks, you know, like you've tried to experiment and you've tried to break the boundaries and get into a different space. मगर मैं यहाँ आपसे जरूर बात करना चाहूंगी. आप इतना सुंदर गाते हैं, तो एक ब्रेक हो जाए, कुछ गाना हो जाए आपसे. You know, you sing so well. I've heard you singing so many times. And you walked from a reality show. Yes.
Yes. Pop Stars 2 was
one of your nice songs.
What do I sing? Okay, I'll sing Kahi To Hogi Wo, because I think all of y'all know that song, and y'all can relate that to me. It's my film, Jaane Diye Jana. Kahi to hogi wo duniya jahan mere paas hai, jahan main, jahan tu, और जहाँ बस तेरे मेरे जज्बात हैं. Okay, I'm forgetting the lyrics now. I'm sorry.
But so nice, Manjari. I think you should practice it. This is the best time to kind of hone your skills on your skills.
Manjari, I want that song. I heard you singing. It's there on your Facebook. Channa Mere, I love it. Can we have that? Okay. If you remember the words.
Okay, I'll try that.
Okay.
महफिल में तेरी हम ना रहे जो, हम तो नहीं है, गम तो नहीं है, किससे हमारी नजदीकियों की कम तो नहीं है, कम तो नहीं है. कितनी दफा सुबह से मेरी तेरे आंगन में बैठे मैंने शाम किया, चन्ना मेरे या चन्ना मेरे या चन्ना मेरे या बेलिया हो पिया, चन्ना मेरे या चन्ना मेरे या चन्ना मेरे या बेलिया.
Very
lovely.
good.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Maybe don't you think this indie pop makes fusion better to hear, है ना? A little bit of what she said, na? A little bit of Hindi and Punjabi.
नहीं मंजरी तो क्लासिकल में बहुत अच्छी है. मंजरी और मानसी तो दोनों
हाँ,
ऐसे हैं
हाँ.
क्लासिकल वालों ज्यादा अच्छा गाते हैं. So I like I said, I am a musical person. I don't have any reservations. ये form या वो form, whatever she likes. I think she sang Channa Mereya so well.
Nivedita, I wanted to ask you, like a slumdog millionaire, we needed somebody from outside to come and show us our roots. What do you feel about Indians going forward and showing India? You know, why do we need others to come and tell us? Why not we do something about our mythology or, you know, Shiva's anthologies, anything like that?
No, but they have,
Osho,
like
we have
when you see
Buddha.
Salam Bombay, you see Salam Bombay when Meera Nair and all made. So there have been people, but yes, it's always been the case, you know, where Hollywood people, you know, they see India in a different light. Like somebody even told me about Hotel Mumbai, you know, the whole Mumbai attack. That Australian director made it so well. So I said, I wonder why Indian makers, you know, so they also did attempt to make the subject exactly in the same way, but probably the treatment wasn't that big. And having international people coming and making it here also kind of makes the platform bigger, you know. So vis-a-vis an Indian guy just making a film here and waiting to go there. But like I said, I think a lot of people, you know, there are some filmmakers who are obviously very this thing in their art, very astute in their art, but some people I think are also chasing numbers, trying to make it big, and that's where I think they lose focus. So I would love to showcase, in fact, most of the subjects I am doing in content are hardcore indie based. So the makers are coming out of it. Like you, when you see Anurag Kashyap, he does very hardcore Hindi heartland. You know, when you see Gangs of Wasaipur and all, I think that is very good cinema. Then in fact, the old filmmakers, you know, right now we talk about the phase which is now, but if you remember Satyajit Ray, all his films were so much Indian and they were always at par. You know, Hollywood was always waiting कि अब क्या Satyajit Ray बनाएंगे? Will it go towards the Oscar? Or will it really go on that level? So there are filmmakers who are doing that, but probably, like I said, now world has become a small place. So you get to know fast when somebody is making something there on us. So I think the trend is changing, you know, like I said, with web, a lot of new filmmakers are coming in. So you'll see some amazing content coming in. I'm sure Manjari is going to be a part of a lot of them.
Yes, I'm sure. Manjari, who's your favorite producer and who did you like? You acted with people like Nidhi Kumar. He's cast you in many movies. मतलब the Dil and Beta fame वाला director.
Yes.
आप क्या कहना चाहेंगे कि who's been your one of the favorite ones and जिसकी set पे सबसे ज़्यादा मस्ती की हुई हो?
I think we had a great time on the sets of Grand Masti and Kiss Kiss Ko Pyar Karu and actually a lot of films. Yeah, matlab even Baba Black Sheep. I've never laughed that much in my life.
You had
we
Manish
had
Paul there.
such a great time on that film. Sorry, what?
You had Manish Paul there.
Yeah, it was mad. That set was crazy. I had the best time on that set. And yeah, I mean,
which is the genre or the movies that you're now looking forward to be cast in, and what are the kind of scripts that would, you know, perhaps make you sit up and say, yes, I'm doing that?
I think scripts coming out of realism, real life, you know, there's such beautiful concepts and such beautiful, I mean, I love the whole realistic kind of space. I really look forward to doing that. I want to work with Anurag Kashyap. I love the kind of stuff he's making, and
I know, Thappad,
yeah, that's something I'm really looking forward to.
Huh? Mind-blowing movie, Thappad. I loved every scene of that movie.
Anubhav Sinha. Thappad is Anubhav Sinha. Yeah, okay, of course. Yeah, he's such a great director. I mean, I've worked with him on See Warning was produced by him. So yeah, I mean, he's a great friend of mine, and I would love to work with him again on something good.
But again, I say, Nivedita, hats off to this man, you know, for making a movie that is totally sexist after, say, 2000 years of patriarchy. We've had such a wonderful film like Thappad. Every scene was so beautiful in that movie. I mean, every dialogue kind of resonated with what women go through on a daily basis.
I mean, I did like the film, but I thought it was a little stretched, you know. I mean, it should have been a slightly more crisper, because it was just like one thing going on and on. You were feeling so bad for Taksi, and why wouldn't she like react a little earlier? But I like the film which this one Anubhav made. I loved this thing, Article 15.
Article 15 was really nice.
That
really
was
nice,
like
really.
Amazing. So I think Manjari, he's doing the genre of film which you are saying, you know, which are more real and which are more realistic. And Of course,
Yeah.
Anurag Kashyap also does his genre of stuff. So I think we are in for some really good content in the coming times. Nidhi.
Yeah,
So
I
I feel
think it's
like
a great time. It's a great time for actors, directors, writers. I mean, like, so many new kind of concepts are getting accepted by audience. Audience has changed, most importantly.
yes.
And what is the kind of target audience that you feel you should kind of, persist in adapting your roles towards? Is it all inclusive, or is it some kind of millennial audience? That is one more question which I feel is important to this conversation. You cannot
I think
cater for all.
audience as a whole, yeah. I mean, it doesn't matter whether millennials or whether the like, I think it's universal. I think everybody.
So you mean to say the cultural fabric of the country should be able to, entice people to go and watch a film for what it is, embracing the whole, secular fabric of India, embracing so many other things that are Indian. That is
Yeah.
what would cater to a whole lot of audience. Otherwise, it would be like sectoral. Don't you think, Nivedita?
In fact, now that you mention it, I was going to mention the Oscar-winning film this year called Parasite.
Oh yeah.
Uh, it is such a film that I think it is something which resonates with anyone and everyone across the world. The whole demarcation between the rich and the poor, the divide. But it was done so well. I mean, dark comedy at its best.
Such a
And
simple concept, but it
that
was so beautifully done. It was such a great
the
idea.
visuals were stunning, and I think the whole dark humor which was behind it, I think that worked like magic. Because nobody wants to see this, that bechara panti. I mean, we've done it in our films in the early 70s, Garibi and Amiri ka pura divide and everything. But now people
Very
wanted to see
preachy.
it in a lighter way. And there was no doubt that Parasite was going to win the film this year. I mean, I saw it much before the Oscar. And if there were 200 people in the theater, 185 said it that it's just going to win the Oscar.
What I'm trying to bring home the point is that even people like Akshay Kumar are now signing movies that are, like Padman, thoda hatke, because they feel the content and the audience will be very, very receptive to these kind of roles, other than the dancing around trees and, all that is a thing of the past now. People are going in for real stuff. And as you
That's
said,
true.
dark humor and comedy is the role, is the next thing in movies in Bollywood.
Yes, if the question is directed towards me, I think the whole idea was to reinvent yourself. I mean, there came a time where people got a little tired with, too much larger than life. Of course, all the Khans were still following that. But Akshay was, I think, smart enough to shift gears because he realized that people want something which is more relatable.
Correct.
And like you're saying, humor, if it's laced with humor, you want entertainment. Nobody wants to see something which is, I mean, it's not like it isn't there. You also go for a Bahubali in a theater because you get that whole theatrical experience, but it has to be made with that, like magnanimity and that belief. So you can't be halfway through कि बस कोई भी मसाला पुराना फिल्म लेके बना दिया अब वो चल जाएगा because audiences बहुत smart हो गई हैं. Like I told you,
Yes.
the exposure now, whether you're on OTT, on your palm, your access, because of free internet all over, people are watching so much content across the world. So they are not going to be that gullible, to what, we were probably 10 years back कि चलो इसकी फिल्म आई है जाके देखना ही है. अब तो उनको ये देखना अच्छा कौन सी फिल्म है, क्या कंटेंट है, अच्छा ये फनी थी चलो. Where an Andhadhun, I know Andhadhun Friday, Saturday was okay, but Sunday there was no place to stand in the theater. I mean, people had
Yeah.
gone ballistic, and suddenly in the second week it was like going houseful. So people go by word of mouth, So I think you have to make a film which you believe in and has to be as honest filmmaking and I think experience for even the actors. Those flaky, those superficial things, I think they're eventually going to fade away. Because like I said, OTT is giving them so much to watch. They're going to actually be very picky कि हम 2000 रुपए खर्च करके जाएं कि नहीं, because it's not about just going. आने जाने का खर्चा, वहां जाओ, पेप्सी खाओ, आप
Right.
पॉपकॉर्न खाओ. 2000 रुपए is not easy to spend, And with the corona, shutdown, people are going to get very, very wary about spending.
And I doubt if they're going to go to theaters. They're going to watch more of web. And on that note, I want you to end with a vision statement, Manjari. आपका क्या आइडिया है आने वाले फिल्म्स किस तरह की होनी चाहिए? And then we'll call it off.
As Nivi said right now, I totally agree with her. Like, audience now know the difference between good and bad. I think a universal content is always welcome, and something that people can connect to, relate with. I think those are the kind of things that should come.
And on that note, now we'll call this conversation off now, and we'll leave on the note that let's reimagine films and let's reinvent some good ideas for good films. That's all for Not Just for Show today. We'll be back with you next Friday once again. Until then, namaskar.